in everything, like your family, your, you know, everything. So anyway, I just thought that was really a great, uh, I don't know. I just never thought of words in so many contexts, maybe. She just brought that to life for me.
Does anybody else do the one word? Do you pick a word for the year?
I
Yes,
don't.
I did, but I didn't use that book.
Yeah.
I have before.
Yeah.
My word last year was invest. My word this year is recover after 2 weddings.
Oh, yeah.
I have my 2026 word. I'm still working on all the aspects of it, but I do.
You want to share?
Sure. It's intentional.
Mm.
That
I did hear
everything
you
that I
say that.
do is intentional, whether it's how I communicate with and relate to people that I just bump into, whether it's intentional with how we save or invest our funds, our time, people, our kids. Intentional. That's my word.
Like it.
Yeah, I love that.
I kind of I've never done the one word like officially. I've picked words before, and then by about February, it's done. And you know, so I mean, but this last year, the word found me. I didn't even mean to pick a word because I kind of know myself, going, yeah, that's not going to work, or I'll pick a word, and again, it'll be done by February. But this last year, just a theme kept showing up, and this word just kept showing up. So the word found me, and I actually carried it throughout the whole year, and it was a unique word that I would have never picked on my own. And the word was surrender. And that was unique because I think sometimes it's kind of like, do you ever, the analogy I would use is like if you're trying to swim upstream all the time, you're exhausted. You're just constantly exhausted and not really getting anywhere. And sometimes it's better to just go with the flow and surrender and just see where the river takes you, and then maybe hop out and recalibrate. But if you keep trying to swim upstream or against the flow or try so hard, sometimes you just end up exhausting yourself and not really getting anywhere. And so that was kind of my word for the year. And it means more to me also on a spiritual level, on a personal level. Like, instead of just striving so hard to make stuff work all the time, and just kind of like, okay, lighten up, Brandy, and go with the flow a little bit. And it's been a lot more enjoyable. It's been a lot more fun. And I get to maximize the movement of the current of life, and then I can readjust and navigate the current rather than trying to go against it all the time, if that makes sense. It does to me.
Yeah, that'll wear you out going against the current.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that word. You have something, Ryan?
I have not. Am I on here? Hang on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I haven't picked a word out this year. I like phrases more than words. I think it kind of puts things together. So it's hard to pick a word that symbolizes so much, but words are powerful. Obviously, I acknowledge that. But I have not chose a word yet, or a phrase for 2026. I think that's something I'll probably be diving into a little bit more next week. I'll have some time and sit and think on it. But I definitely recommend it. I think it's very beneficial. I put a flag up in my office. If you guys want to pop in there and see what it says, you're more than welcome. And it's a mindset. It's a way to think about things and how you'll accomplish things. And it tells you who you can count on at the end of the day. And that's what it takes to find success. You've got to find great partners, but you've got to look within yourself too. And so that's what it means.
Anybody else pick their word yet?
I picked mine. It's Shelby.
Hey, Shelby.
Hey. We were on our the little trip to Branson this weekend, and we were with our friends that I helped move here from California, and they bought their house sight unseen. They let me pick their house. And Terry said, Shelby, you have just been so impactful on our lives, and we just can't imagine why we didn't move from California sooner. And my word's impact. So she said it. I looked at her and I was like, that's the word. Duh, it's right there. So
Oh, that's a good one.
I thought
That's
so
a neat
too.
story,
Yeah,
too.
It's cute. So I think I'm gonna get a bracelet with it made on it. So, but I thought, yeah, I was like, there's my word. God put it right there in front of me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't picked mine yet. I am, so that was my other part of this. How many people here, how many of you guys go to training and then never implement it?
I think we're all guilty of that.
I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
I mean, so I find myself, I got a lot of things in this room here. This is my office here at home. And I think, oh my gosh, you go to one training and you throw that over here. And then I go to another training and I throw that over there. And I just never really found a good way to make myself implement the training that I learned, although I think it's all great. So one of the things that I'm going to do this year is ensure that I implement the training. And so in order to do that, I'm going to put it on my calendar and nugget it away. Just an hour here, an hour there, but I'm going to make sure I put it on there and I'm going to make sure I do it. Because I've been doing this a long time to be missing on the implementation part of a lot of the training. So I'm not going to keep doing, I'm not going to continue to choose training that I don't do, that I don't implement. So what do you guys do to keep yourself doing the training, like implementing the training that you learn? Or yeah, I guess that's the word. I don't know.
I would say this, Sandy, to add to that. I think, first of all, we all feel that way a little bit. We all want to learn more and more. And, we get these nuggets. And the reality is, very few people implement everything. I mean, I think if we're being honest, it just doesn't work that way. But I do think we gain knowledge by being in those rooms. But, there are bits and pieces that end up here. And so I do think there's value beyond maybe feeling like you stopped informally, so give yourself a little grace there, because your years of training are why you do what you do. So anyway, that just a little nugget I wanted to add.
Yeah, I do agree. I gain nuggets from all the training and everything. There's just, and I do know of it. Like when someone will mention, for instance, that business planning book, I'm going to implement that. And I don't want it to be one of those things. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And I remember Amber Rutherford. I remember she said she carried it around with her and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I really feel like that book can be an impactful piece of my business and myself because it's
I
for
think getting an
everything.
accountability partner that has a similar challenge would be your best way to hold each other accountable.
Yes.
That will assure you, because you just don't let each other down, and it will happen for both of you.
Sandy, are you going to carry the binder with you everywhere you go?
Well, I may not carry it in everywhere I go, but it'll be in my car.
If I
So
catch you without it, can I get
know.
you? Can I get you to donate some money?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
I'll hold you accountable.
Sure.
I think that's
Yeah,
great.
because if I have that binder, I feel like I'm going to be making a lot of money if I'm doing all those things on that binder.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, anybody got any input on that?
Something within that binder, and we talk about the training and things we do. And I actually spoke about this with my coach. So the accountability piece, working with my coach, Sandy, the 7 circles. I've got to go back through there and grade myself on those 7 different circles. I think I've got a few of them figured out, but I think I've got a 1 or 2 maybe out of whack that I want to work on in the next year to see if I can get find my center again. I feel a little bit off balance at the end of this year, and not quite where I want to be. I'm like, okay, so what is it? So that's when I'm gonna go back here in the next week or 2 and reevaluate myself on those and see where we can improve things over the next quarter. And it's more of quality of life too. That's what I'm looking for at this point of my career, quality of life with the business that we do have. How do we create that I don't know that I don't even know if comfort. I'm not worried about comfort. I can deal with discomfort, but I think of just consistency over time, and just continue to find success, not only with the business, but with our personal lives too. So important.
I totally agree.
Sandy, about the binder, and by the way, Nanette, I don't know if she's able to you know, chime in or unmute, but Nanette is already using the 7 circles every day. She shared that with our ALC group yesterday, and I thought that was pretty cool. And she's already seeing success from using the 7 circles. But also what I would say is that binder, we're going to build out the binder. If you want to be a part of doing it together as a group and time blocking, I've got December 3rd and December 10th. Those are 2 Wednesdays, December 3rd, December 10th at 10 a.m. I'll put it on the calendar, that we would come in the training room and we can do this together. If I know several people mentioned that, so I'll put that on the calendar and get that out as well.
Yeah, that'll probably be fun. I know a lot of, well, some of the things I feel like we as individuals may want to brainstorm prior to that,
Yes.
because it'll be too hard to do like in a class setting probably. But yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, Nanette, I'll share what she shared with us yesterday.
I'm trying to unmute as usual.
Oh, there you go.
My fingers won't work and it won't come on. So finally, yay, here I am. Yeah, I got a lot out of that class. I was telling Brandy before, when I went to the business planning class, I'd bring my binder back and I'd have every intention of implementing it. And Sandy and I talked about this morning at the gym. I'm like, if I'm not going to implement it, I don't need to go to the class. Bottom line. So before I would bring that binder back and I'd put it in my office and I'd stand it up to where I look at it every day when I walked into my office, and to tell myself I needed to do it. And I wasn't excited about it. I told Brandy, I said, I walk in my office and I looked at that binder and I'm excited to build it. And I'm with Sandy. I want it in my car with me all the time. And Ryan, yes, if it's not in my car, you can hold me accountable and I'll give some money to a charity. So I did start the 7 circles. I came back to the office. I made copies of it. I dated every day, and I've been doing it every day since. It's been keeps me focused on my one thing that I'm going to do in that area every day.
I think that is awesome. But the only thing I think I will continue to do is to go to training. I just want to, I don't want to not go to training because, like Lonnie said, you do get a nugget here and a nugget there. Like last night at our wealth building class, there's just things you get out of that. Like when, for instance, Nathan had said that he buys 4 flip houses and then he buys a hold house with it, with the proceeds, is what I'm thinking. And I thought that was genius, like to think of it in that manner. And so, because then you're paying cash for it, for one. And I also thought it was interesting that he thought the retail selling and buying real estate was the main source of income, like you get the most out of them. So I like that idea because, sometimes you'll get off on a bunny trail. Well, yeah, flipping, you're going to make more money, but truly, there's a lot of money in real estate just doing retail business like we do. So I really like that. So yeah, so anyways, I will continue to go to the training and get the nuggets out of it. But what I want to do is be more intentional about implementing stuff. So
What's really cool is when you go to enough of these things and it really starts to sink in, it also is something that you feel very comfortable helping others with. And that reward, especially later in a career like me, that's what I really enjoy now. It was cool to listen to Nate talk about his journey, and he was very humble, by the way. Nate's
Yeah.
extremely successful. But you know, I knew him when he was just an agent struggling, trying to do some retail business, you know, and then he got into the KW world and just took off, you know, all to his credit. But he found the right people, he found the right model. And so to see somebody develop like that is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is pretty neat because I watched him grow. Like all of us have watched, like Ryan and you, even you, Lonnie. I feel like I watched all of us grow, you know, to where we are today. So that's pretty fun to be in the same office for all the years and watch people grow. I love it. And I remember when Nathan was working with you, Lonnie.
Yeah.
Ryan does too.
I do
I'm sure.
remember. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Lonnie was pretty big time by the time in 2013 when I got here, Lonnie was rolling pretty heavy.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, man, if I could just do half the business that guy does. I was just like,
Mhm.
I watched what he was doing. Like, it was awesome.
Do you remember he had the blinking? Do you remember this, Lonnie? Your screensaver was blinking 8.
8. Yes, I remember 8. Yes, Sandy. I'm like, what is that? 8 ball?
I know. I wonder too. I had to ask him. I go, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "I have to have 8 listings at all times to keep the lifestyle that I want or maintain the lifestyle that I want." I thought that was great.
Yeah.
So this is Nanette again. Let me
Hey, Nanette.
rephrase a little bit of what I said.
Mhm.
What I was talking to Sandy yesterday, we went, first of all, a couple weeks ago, we went to this big Jason Pantana AI training, and Caesar and Brandy were there. And he had all these slides. And at the end of the day, he sends us the slides and we get to print them off and we get to go through it and try and figure out what he talked about that day. Okay, so then he sends us like 4 free mini sessions that we can go to. They're an hour. They're over in Overland Park. And so we went and did that. Yesterday we went to one of his mini sessions, and when we left, I'm like, okay, Sandy, we have to put this on our calendar. We need to print off those slides. We need to implement what he's told us so far. Otherwise, I don't need to go to the next class. If I'm not going to stop and print them off and go look at them, I don't need to continue this if I'm not going to implement it. So that's what I meant by, if I'm not going to implement it, I'm wasting my time going to the next 2 sessions that I've signed up for.
Right. So what they did on the 4 free sessions is they're taking a deeper dive into AI and showing us more how to do it. So one of the things we're going to implement, Nanette, we're going to do a video through a house, and then we're going to create an AI person who stands about right here and who tells about that house. I think that sounds exciting. I like this AI stuff. I'm really interested. I'll put it that way.
Well,
Yeah.
learn it so you can teach us, Sandy.
Well, I'm doing the very best I can. That's why I got to implement those things. I mean, I see a lot of, I don't know, a lot of fun. Like it's a whole new way of doing business. And also, my assistant, you know, can be in the AI. I'm like, yeah, all these ideas. Now I got to see if they work for me, you know? Anybody using AI in their business, by the way? Everybody?
Chat GPT.
Yeah, that's all I do. And but they were showing us how to do the custom chat GPTs yesterday. So they were pretty fun. So um anybody got anything to add to that? If not, we'll move on. Any challenges in real estate right now with anyone? Hello.
I
Hey.
do. I am
Yes.
very anxious to get everybody's thoughts on this, the experienced folks. When I door knocked last week at Creekmore, I met a lady, older lady, in one of the villas, and she's like, "Yeah, I think I do want to move." She's been there 12 years. So I met with her yesterday, and she had told me that her son was renting in Raymore and might be interested. So I'd made contact with him, but he said, "No, we just want to continue to rent." So anyway, son's about my age probably. The son's girlfriend of 10 years was there yesterday when I met with Virginia. And anyway, through the course of the conversation, it came up that the girlfriend said, "Well, remember, Virginia, wouldn't it be great if you bought a duplex and then we could live on one side and you on the other?" And Virginia kind of made a face, like she doesn't want to have that situation. So that kind of set my radar up a little bit. So then when I'm leaving, the girlfriend follows me out and says, "She does this. She's not really in her right mind. She doesn't need to move right now. We'll call you if you blah blah blah." But and I'm not saying that the lady won't. She's like, she'll change her mind or blah blah blah. So we don't want to waste your time. I said, "Well, that happens all the time. That's not, that's my job to help her explore some things." And so the girlfriend and then the son called me. They are not keen on her moving, but I'm not 100% sure why. The weird, like I guess they're okay if she moves, if she buys a duplex that they can live in, but they're not if she buys a house that she wants to live in and she wants to move back out to Lee Summit, be closer to her daughter. So I have an appointment with her next week. I was going to bring over to have her sign up, the agreements and such, but I'm not sure how to handle this girlfriend and this son the girlfriend texted me and said, "We'll just let you know if we ever decide to sell." I'm like, "Well, there is no we. You're not even her daughter-in-law, number one." Um, but at the same time, I don't want to completely alienate them if they are part of the decision making, if she's gonna, so I've met with this woman twice and yeah, I mean she mixes up the remote control with her phone, again, I've seen both of them. They look a little similar. I could see her, like, oh, which one's which? But they're acting like she's completely not capable. I'm like, well, I don't know. The son said, when my dad died 12 years ago, she did the same thing, went through a bunch of realtors and sold our family home and bought this. And I'm like, well, it's doubled in price in 12 years and she doesn't owe anything on it. I didn't say this, what I'm thinking. So I'm not sure she's making bad decisions. Living somewhere for 12 years is not impulsive. So I am, one thing I was thinking, one strategy would be to say to them, if she's in this exploratory stage that you say she does and then she changes her mind, better to do it with me who's ethical than to let somebody come in who might take advantage of her or try to push her. But that's my only I don't know how much I even need to talk to them or should talk to them. So I'll be quiet and let you guys drain wisdom on me on this.
Did you ask her how involved they are in the transaction?
Well, the
Her?
girlfriend was right there the whole time, so I haven't had
Oh,
a chance to circle back to her quite yet. And so I get the sense that girlfriend's going to try to run interference to keep me from meeting with her alone. Um, and I don't want to, I shouldn't say that I know that their motives are bad. I don't. They may sincerely be watching out for her. But the fact that it was okay to buy a duplex that would benefit them, who have been renting for 10 years,
mhm.
it just sort of gave me a little bit of, and again, I deal with an aging parent too, and I get, but if she wants to make this move, even if they don't love it, I said, I wouldn't set her up to go backwards financially. That's not, blah, 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 blah. We'd make sure, blah, blah, blah. She should talk to a financial advisor, tax person, but I'm sure you
You
guys have
said
dealt with this, so.
you said her daughter lives in Lee Summit?
Hmm.
That's who I'd talk to probably.
Yeah, I kind of have to get back to Virginia without the girlfriend sitting there,
Yes.
not letting me in the house. So I don't know if I
Mm.
could just stop back by, which I'm totally fine doing. But I just kind of this was just yesterday. So I thought I'm going to hold till today so you guys can give me your thoughts.
Hey, Stacy, I always go back to, and this is just what I was taught. Who's the client? Who is
Mhm.
going to be the client? And if she is of sound mind and you feel that she is, then it is her decision for her to make on where she wants to live. And
Mhm.
not that these aren't good people or good kids trying to help her out, but they're not in the arena. They're renters. They don't even own property, and they're trying to tell her how to buy. They don't have themselves what they desire. So they, in my book, don't get the ability to give advice on what she gets to do with her ownership of property. And so I love the idea that you came up with, is going back and getting one-on-one with her
Mhm.
and find out what it is she truly wants to do. And I don't know how much I would even ask about the kids anymore, about what their involvement is. You can casually, but if
Mhm.
they're just in it for themselves, and from this conversation, it sounds like they're kind of in it for themselves. As long as we can get a place to live out of this deal for free, that'd be great. We wouldn't have to pay rent anymore, or I don't know what the situation would be. But yeah, I think it's a great plan, getting one-on-one with her and seeing what she wants to do. Again, if she's of sound mind, let her make her own choices and live where she wants to. If she wants to get closer to family, then talk to that family member. If you want to
Yeah.
pull them in, like, hey, this is what she's looking for. And if you want to do that, but I would do some investigating there too, but honor the client relationship.
How do you, so the son called me, and he'll probably call me again if he finds out I go over there.
Mhm.
So managing that side of it, A, what am I even allowed to, again, they're not the client. And how do you, again, not totally alienate them I don't want to create some sort of family feud with them, but I feel, to your point, I feel like this is the client. The last two clients I've had have been this age, and
Yeah.
they might
I don't
forgive
think you're
us
creating a
a lot.
family feud. I honestly don't. It's them
Yeah.
inserting them into business they don't belong in, and they're creating the problem. You're working for a solution for your client, and they don't like it, and that's their problem, but not yours nor your clients. But if you want to talk to Virginia and ask her how she would like you to interact with them, I have some clients tell me, Ryan, do not tell them anything. If they call you, just ignore their calls, ignore their messages. Some clients I have, yeah, feel free to fill them in on anything you want. I always double check, but feel
Okay.
free to fill them in on anything you want. So figure out how she wants you to operate. And it may be, yeah, do not give them any information. That sometimes comes up.
I was gonna suggest maybe, do you know what car the daughter-in-law or girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
drives?
Yeah.
I would just get a really pretty pumpkin pie with a nice fall card and drive past the house. And if she's not there, pop in and just say, "I just want to drop this by for Thanksgiving," and just nonchalantly just say exactly what Ryan said. So, and then if she is there, just keep on driving.
Yeah. That would be yeah.
But you're coming
Yeah.
from
There's
a
a
part of
good point. That's a good
contribution.
idea.
And bring the
Yeah, you're
pie
coming.
by the
Yeah.
office if you do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out.
I'll have some pie.
Shelby's a little stealth ninja over there, isn't she? Man,
Yeah,
look at
she
her.
is.
Look at her
Yeah.
like sneaking in and going for the kill. I love it.
Coming
Get
in
rid
the
of
back door.
the.
Other thoughts on how to manage the kids
Uh,
if they just keep
I don't know
inserting
about,
themselves?
yeah, I think, there's a lot of what ifs here, and there's so many variables that we just don't know,
Yeah.
given the context of this. But, it goes back to always trying to figure out what people's motivation is. Secondly, be sure that you're talking to the decision makers. My
Mhm.
guess is a lady of that age, although she appears to be a relatively sound mind, she probably has somebody in the family that is massively influential. And if that person is the kids you're dealing with, that's a
Yeah.
possibility. That we mentioned the folks in Lee Summit. Chances are she's going to need the blessing of one or both of those to really, do make any significant changes in her life.
I think that's true. So Lonnie, then the point like where I'm at, where the daughter-in-law basically told me, don't talk to her again. I still feel like I don't have to take that direction from the girlfriend. She's not daughter-in-law, from the girl. I feel like I need to go back because when I left, when she was talking to me in the driveway, the girlfriend, um, I said, well, if she changes her mind, have Virginia call me. Like I'm not gonna, because I met Virginia at her door, she invited me in, she started the conversation. I didn't, and then she had me come back a second time. So I feel like it would be inappropriate for me to just stop talking to her now without talking to her again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't stop cold turkey no matter what. I mean, to me, this is somebody that just got into your triangle. I mean,
Right,
we're going to advance that relationship, whether there's business to be done now or 5 years
right,
from now.
right,
The motivation of those kids. I mean, how many people do we know where there's a relatively stable elderly parent and there's, for lack of a better term, an idiot hanging on kid that kind of
right.
relies on mom. And if she moves over to Lee Summit, then she's not there to buy their groceries and things like that. I mean, we see this over and over again. So, it's just, it's kind of sad in a way, but, I would not discount the influence that those two people can have.
Right.
Mhm.
That's the thing. I don't want to completely alienate them. That's a good reminder because whether she moves now or later, if I've totally, pissed them off, they're not going to let her use me, and I don't want to. So it's trying to find that,
Yeah.
looking for the scripting with the kiddos, like how I stay sort of in their good graces, but at the same time,
Yeah. Stay in touch and always kind of finish with, hey, I'm here for you when the time is right. And maybe that's just how you end all conversations and all transactions
okay.
or all engagements is I'll be here for you when the time is right. And that time is right could be now. It could be a change where the person in Lee Summit is more influential and really wants mom over there, and all of a sudden they're ready to get things headed in the right direction. But constantly, the relationship needs to be advanced and it needs to be worked on and things like that. So, somebody saying, yeah, we'll get back to you. Yeah, that's not how I would go right past that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet
I
the
just didn't even
daughter,
respond.
I bet the daughter is pretty influential in that whole deal if you ever get to her.
True.
I had a similar situation where a boyfriend was involved with trying, like, he was manipulating his girlfriend on selling her family's estate. And he was not listed on anything. So I just said, I legally cannot talk to him. I can only talk to her. So then I didn't have to communicate with all. And that solved that problem. Legally, no way, shape, or form involved. But yeah, that's what I did with them because of it was getting to be really difficult.
Hmm. Yeah, I wondered about that. Like, how much can I even tell somebody who's not even related to her? I guess if she gives me permission is the key. But
The funny look that she gave you when they want a duplex makes me
uh,
think she doesn't really want him around.
she
Mhm.
doesn't want to live. Well, and the girlfriend said, I said, well, because I'd showed her some condo townhouse kind of things that she liked. And she said, she doesn't even want to live next door to us. I can't imagine she'll want to be that close to someone else. I said, well, I love my kids. It's my son on here. I said, but I don't want to live next door to them. I don't want to share a wall with them. So I said, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's an indicator that she
Yeah.
couldn't live by someone else.
Hey,
She
Stacy,
didn't want to
I
live
would,
right next door to you because the more that girlfriend talked about it, the more face Virginia made, talking about
Yeah.
taking care of that gal's grandkids and different things. I'm like, well, I can see why she didn't want to live next door to you, but
Mhm.
yeah, have Virginia give you permission to not have to speak with her.
mm.
Yes, that's what I do.
And I think I'm going to tread, I think I have to be flexible too, because I feel my experience a little bit just in general with people sometimes in this stage of life is they're very like, this is my decision, I'm going to make it, don't talk to them. But then the next day, like, well, I need to talk to my son about it. Like, I feel like it goes back and forth like that.
Please.
So
I did just have that same thing, only it was reversed. The daughter was wanting the people to move out of this house. And the house, I even had Nathan go to it. We couldn't sell it. Like, I don't even know if we could have gave it away, but Nathan didn't want it either. And so anyway, the daughter's like, no, uh, I want him to move. And then the guy, her husband, her mom's husband said, talk to her anymore. She's always right. And this is his words. He said, she's always right up her ass. That's what he said. And so he didn't want her to have any influence on any of it. But at the end of the day, the mom is the one who was the decision maker for the whole thing. It was her money, and we did move.
Mm,
So, and he went with her.
mm,
So you just don't know those. I mean, I didn't disregard the daughter,
right.
but yet I didn't call her for her opinions on anything. So
Yeah.
anything they talk to her about, that's their deal, you know? And
Mm,
I just went along with what they wanted to do, and we did
mm,
it. So that's how I handled it. I don't make them mad or anything. I just don't ask for their opinion.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Any other, if anybody thinks anything else, I would, yeah. Just because this is my first time in this sort of situation. So any experiences uh, you think of that would be helpful, I'll take them.
I've had it on the positive side of that where the kids, if I needed help with like the family needed to get rid of stuff and have an estate sale, and I was able to reach out to the kids and say, "Hey, I really need your help. Can you please tell your folks like we need to do this?" And then they were able to, come in and say, "Guys, let's do this," and hearing it from somebody else, and then it worked out beautifully. So sometimes the kids can be a real blessing, and sometimes they can't.
Depends on if they're
Mhm.
waiters or not.
Yeah, the
True.
son said something about it being in a trust, but when I looked it up, it didn't look like it was. So I asked Colfelt over here if they could search that real quick for me to see who's even on the deed, um, to see, yeah, who's the signer on that. So I would at least have that information as well.
Yeah, it gets tricky when there's outsiders trying to be insiders when they have nothing to do with the transaction.
Yeah.
I let them talk and listen, but I don't really let them change my client's mind, if you will. If they want to
Mhm.
move, we're moving. We're going.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of my inclination. I'm like, well, just because you may not, we don't all always agree about what our other family members do, and I know I would not do something to harm Virginia. Like I'm not going to
Right.
push her to do something that would be bad for her. I would definitely not do that. But somebody else might. So that's
Right.
what I'm going to kind of tell them. If she's got this bee in her bonnet, someone else could knock on her door tomorrow. Better if she's working with me. You've got to know me a little bit, and yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. I appreciate that. I was very anxious to hear what everybody would say.
Hey, and good for you to door knock. Nanette and I used to door knock all the time. We got a lot of suntans doing that.
Well,
We
I
did.
do literally have a client who wants on the golf course in Creekmore. So I'm knocking every door
Okay.
in that price range. It's a
Good
legit
for you.
like offer. Like we could do the transaction right away if I could just get somebody to sell. So,
There you go.
but then the sidebar is that I also knocked on doors that were not on the golf course. So
Yeah.
getting some,
Why not?
I'm having lunch or coffee with one of the gals today at 1:30 up at the club. Just to,
Oh,
we just kind of hit it off at the door, about the same age. So we're gonna have coffee and just sort of get to know each other.
good for you.
It was pretty
You
good.
can get a lot of business doing that.
And the weather was perfect. It was last weekend. Oh my gosh, I couldn't. Yeah, last weekend, the beautiful Saturday, Friday and Saturday, I did it.
Because when I started real estate, I worked in the plaza I live in Belton, I did, but I worked in the plaza 40 plus hours a week. So I knew nobody in Belton.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't know anyone. So then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do real estate. Well, I didn't know anyone. So I had to go door knock and I had to do all those things to get people in my database because I had no database. Everybody's like, get in your database. What database? I don't have one. Call your family. All my family's gone. I got more in heaven than I got on earth. Like I don't know where to go. But yeah, door knocking's a great thing. It'll definitely get you busy.
I thought another thing that was interesting out of Stacy's situation is she was also trying to work out, spend some time with comparable sales. And one of the questions she had for me yesterday was, I'm seeing this data on the street. There's a lot of sales. One side of the road's on the golf course, and the side the subject is on was not on the golf course. And her question was a very common question. How much do you change the comps for a golf course versus non-golf course? And there's never an exact answer to that, but in that area, probably in that 40,000 range, 30 to 50. But here's the thing, not all golf course lots are created equal. Some have amazing golf course exposure with maybe preferred walkouts, that sort of thing. Some are just kind of cornered on the golf course with no walkout. So, just within golf course lots, there's a lot of change, like lakefront lots. Not all lakefront lots. Some people are back at the end of coves with real shallow water. Some are on main channel with these beautiful views. Lakefront, but completely different. So I just thought that was an interesting thing to discuss, and we had a good chat on that.
Yes.
it was
And Lonnie,
very helpful to kind of gauge those things I hadn't thought about.
and what side of the fairway is that house on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good
That's
point.
important. At about 175 yards, it's dangerous.
For sure.
Well, that's great because you've got 3 pieces of potential business, just what you just talked about. Right?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
at least it feels like, I'm doing something anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers
That's what
game.
you do. Yeah. I also heard the other day about the board duty is there's that potential too, and there's a lot of vacancy on there for anybody who's interested in doing that. Somebody mentioned that there wasn't much, there was a lot of empty spots. So,
Yeah, I
but
know,
you
but
do have
Randy,
to be in the office.
if they don't get filled, like, because I know there's a max that we're supposed to do, but if there are empty slots and nobody's taking them,
You can grab another. You can grab another couple.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it. And I guess if
Yeah,
you're doing
you
too
have
much and people can't get in, we'll say something. But grab a couple more days.
so you've had great success with it, huh? So she's like, her mind's like, give me some more.
I think, why would you stop doing what worked for you? But
Yeah, it is good. I used to do it. I've had walk-in list me appointments before when I used to get on it.
One of the things I will also say about Stacy, not only is she out there doing the stuff and she's signing up for board duty and she's door knocking and she's doing the thing, she's in here in this office every single day.
Yeah.
And that matters and that changes things. That, she's thinking like a realtor. It's hard to
Mhm.
think like a realtor when you're in your jammies or driving around all day or whatever. It's
Hat
easy to
on.
stay focused when you're here in the office. So good job, Stacy.
oh, thank you.
It
It's
does
just
help. It helps.
it does. I get it so much just from hearing everybody else talking too. I'm selfish in that I absorb a lot of information. So I appreciate that you have it.
Yeah, so she's working in her business, or is that the right word? In her business when she's not working on the business, right? Like got the deals going on. That's great. Because that is our job. So speaking of that is our job, what are the 5 income producing activities that is our job? Can anybody name them besides Ryan?
You mean our 20% that we're supposed to be in?
Basically, yes. Uh-huh.
I wonder if Tim knows.
Lead generate. You want all 5 of them?
Yep.
Follow.
Well, no.
Lead
Now,
generate.
anybody know
Lead,
the other 4? Let's see, because you know all 5. Okay, let's find somebody else. Who knows the others? One of them.
It also starts with
Negotiating
lead.
contracts.
What, Joe?
Negotiating contracts.
Yes, that is one of them. What's the others?
Lead follow-up,
Yep, that's the other one.
script and role play.
Yes. and
Go on
going on
appointments.
appointments. Yeah. So those are our 5 income producing activities of a realtor. That's our job, basically. I didn't know that when I first started, so I thought I would throw that out there. Anybody has everybody in here taken Ignite before? Does anybody not know what it is? You know what it is, Tim. You don't know what it is, Stacy?
Oh, sorry. I was raising my hand that I had taken it before. Sorry.
I knew it.
Maybe even taught at a time or two.
Yes. So it is pretty neat. It's pretty much foundational stuff to teach us our foundational stuff to help people that are just getting into the business. It is very worthy, but again, it is stuff that you will have to implement. So, but it is a great class, and I think Brandy has it so that we're going to start that again, training with that. And I mean, you'll get lots of nuggets out of it for sure.
One of my
I
favorite things about Ignite, Sandy, is not only the content. The content is always good, but I
Yeah.
always enjoy that we have different agents teaching the different lessons. So you get to hear how Ryan Finn does real estate, how you do real estate, how maybe Tim or whoever's teaching. Usually it's our ALC members. So our top agents. You get to see all the different variations and flavors of real estate. And that's what you get so much, if Ryan taught a lesson and I taught the exact same lesson, they'll probably look and sound a lot different. Because we get to put our flavor and our flair on this thing. And that's the beauty that is real estate, I think. That we get to do it our way. We get to bring our personality to the table. And so I love that about Ignite, that you get to hear from all kinds of people.
Yeah, me too. So that's why I always think, even though our job is those 5 income producing activities, um, I mean, when you're taking classes such as Ignite and different ones like that, those are just building each of those levels, I think, showing you how to all the different forms of lead generation and and the fortune is in the follow-up, which I just had one close or getting ready to close. That was, I don't know how many of you were at team meeting, but he was looking last December and then he decided to sign on again for his lease. And even though I told him, our prices are still going to increase, he waited and came back and now we're going to close. But that was following up with him, not him following up with me. They don't usually call us back. We have to call them back. He would have, I think, but I'm not positive because he had a girlfriend now. And that girlfriend may know 5 realtors. Like everybody knows 5 realtors. So we have to be the proactive one to follow up with our people. But anyway, so it just Ignite goes deeper into all of our job activities. There is what it does. So, anybody seeing any other challenges?
I was just going to say yes to that question too. I was going to say I love Ignite. Whenever I very first started taking Ignite, I remember I sat next to Chris Bradley, and I don't know if Chris is on the call now, but Chris, she does a really great job of doing a couple of things super consistently. And I definitely don't want to speak for her. However, I know she really highly targets her own neighborhood and like a certain clientele that she goes after. And I don't even know what her numbers are like right now. I know she's getting the business that she wants to get. And she's not necessarily taking business that she doesn't want. And part of that came from Ignite, being just really focused and being dialed in on the lead gen efforts and the lead follow-up efforts that you want to do and that you will do consistently. And her and I kind of bounce some stuff back and forth from that Ignite. And I think historically I've been all over the place when it comes to lead gen and lead follow up. And I kind of like, I looking back, I feel like I kind of chased this shiny object and chased rainbows a little bit instead of just plowing the soil and, pulling in the harvest that I desire to pull in. And now I'm doing that. I wish I would have done it 5 years ago, but now I'm doing it. And Ignite really teaches you to do that. I just didn't always take the lesson and run with it. And so I think it would be awesome for us to do Ignite in the Market Center. I'm excited about that. Happy to teach any of the classes or any of the modules that you need me to, Sandy or Brandy. And yeah, I love Ignite a ton. I think it's just an awesome program.
Yeah, I've taken it several times myself. And again, like you just said, now you're going back and implementing things now. It's just, I think, but you had the knowledge. You had it in your mind of what to do. You just didn't implement it. So that's going to the classes and getting it, I feel like is important too. Yeah.
Good question. How much longer do we have access to Tina Bernine's Agent Kickstart?
You have access to it until I think at least through March for sure, and we can decide if we want to renew another year or not.
Yeah. Are you?
Okay, that was going to be one of my top goals to focus, because I'm not going to focus on that, and I want to.
It's really good.
Does anybody else?
I feel like you can take stuff from it,
Yeah.
Shelby.
I would say it's the most underutilized
I've done like
aspect.
the first course.
It is underutilized, Lonnie. I feel like we all got in at Gunji at first, and now people. So I'm going to bring that up at team meetings too to follow. I'm sure Brandy can, and maybe remind people we have that tool, because we do have a lot of tools. You got to admit, and we start forgetting our tools
Yeah.
that we do have.
Do you know if there'll be any, I was, I'm such a rule follower. I thought I had to do the whole thing before I could work here, so I did it all.
You do.
So I did them all.
So,
And I've gone back and revisited, because I didn't have a lot of context, but some of I watched the role playing and the scripting and things. She's a little intense. So is her friend, the one she does that with. I don't know that I would ever act the same way they do, but I feel like some of it was during a different market. I can't say specifically right now, but a couple of times I was thinking, well, that's not really what it's, how the market was 5 years ago versus now. So I'd love them to do maybe some updating on some of that, because as I've heard all of you guys, it's all I've ever known, the market we're in, obviously, but I was not ignorant of it, before I was doing this full time. But I think going back to the basics and kind of some of those strategies, I don't know. I just felt like some of it was a little bit not this market, but I guess it'll be applicable when the market picks back up again. I just